Congratulations! If you have a color wheel that looks like this, all cut apart with blank spaces in the middle, you are now ready to start creating those intermediate colors. Remember, the intermediate colors are the colors that are made out of one primary and one secondary color, and these are the colors that happen in between the basic colors on our color wheel. So you're going to receive some new paint sets. You will have to track this down. Take a look at this picture and go locate all of these supplies. To proceed with the next steps, you will need several things. You will need this tray of paints. You will notice that this tray of paint has all of the primary colors and secondary colors in there for you. And of course, you'll need several mixing spoons, 6, one for each color, a plate to mix on, your color wheel ready to go, a paper towel, and some water and a paintbrush. I'll give you a moment to go get those things.
Now, before you get too far, let me just break in here and give you a little tip, something that you might need to change on here before you go any further. Because of the quality of our paints, not the greatest quality, whatever, it makes it really hard to get a good green. It's either too light or too dark. It's kind of an odd color. And actually, this happened to me. This color of green is actually more of a yellow green, which is an intermediate color, and I really need this to be a good green. You might have also had trouble getting a really good purple. My purple turned out okay. But if your color of purple is actually more reddish, then you actually have red violet, which is an intermediate color, and it doesn't belong there. So before you go any further, if you need to, for your green or your purple, I want you to use the regular colors of paints that are in your new color set, and I want you to just repaint over those colors that you had trouble getting. Watch this. Now, what was once the wrong color of green is now miraculously corrected. Go ahead and do that if you need to.
All right, now that you have all of those supplies collected, you are ready to start making those intermediate colors. Now remember, intermediate colors come in between, in those rectangular spaces between the main colors on our color wheel. The strategy we used for creating the secondary colors by looking to the neighbors and by borrowing some from that neighbor and borrowing some from that neighbor to create our secondary color, we're going to use that same strategy to create each of the intermediate colors. So for this space right here, all I have to do is look to the neighbors. I'm going to need some yellow. I'm going to need some orange. I'm going to mix those together, and I'm going to put that color right there. So I'm going to use my scoop, and I'm going to scoop out a little bit of what I need. We use the scoops because we really want this tray of paint to stay clean. We don't want to do any double dipping and mess those colors up because every third grader in the entire school has to share these trays. So I get a little bit of the two colors that I need. I'm going to use my brush and I'm going to combine those together. Now don't just start mixing. Orange, and this goes for all of these colors. Whatever color is darker is going to be a lot more powerful than the lighter color. And so I really only need a little bit of this and a little bit more of this. So I'm going to take a little scoop of that orange and I'm going to blend it into my yellow. Now, I'm happy to check these colors to see if they are the correct colors before you paint them onto your color wheel. But you don't really have to ask me. All you really have to do is look at the color wheel. Compare your color that you have on the plate to the color that you see on the color wheel, and you can really answer that question yourself. You don't have to wait for me to stop whatever I'm doing and answer that question. You've got eyeballs. You can compare. I think this color looks pretty good for the color that goes right here, which is going to be called, you got it, yellow-orange. So I'm going to take that color, I'm going to paint it right in between there. Actually, now that I get it on there, I think it might need a little bit more yellow, so I'm going to make it a little bit lighter. I'm going to paint that right inside there. Please do a good job of painting your colors. Even though this isn't going to be something that I put on Artsonia for your family to see, this is still probably going to be on display somewhere, and you want it to look as nice as you can. Perfect. So now I have one intermediate color done, and I'm ready to proceed. Now, since I already have some orange here on my plate, it just makes sense for me to go this direction because I know I'm going to need orange when I mix with red to make the intermediate color that goes right here, which is going to be called, you got it, red-orange. So I'm going to get a little bit of red from my paint tray. I'm going to use, the red is going to be stronger than the orange, so I'm just going to take a little bit of that red and mix it into the orange. You'll notice that I just start mixing an area of the orange. I don't mix the entire thing. What if I need more orange later? I save a little bit for later, if I need to. I'm looking for a color that's going to be a good combination of red and orange. A little bit darker than orange, but a little bit more orangish, if that's a word, than red. I think this color might do. Oh yeah, that's a good one. Remember, paint it in neatly. For my next color, it makes sense to go this direction because I already have red on my plate. So I'm going to work on this intermediate color, a combination of red and violet called Red Violet.
Now, just like before, you're going to take your darker color, in this case the violet, and mix a little bit into the red. Work it until you get a nice red violet that matches the red violet on the color wheel, and paint it neatly in the space.
Next, since I have a little bit of purple left, I'm just going to work my way around. This time, it's time for blue-violet. Now, I think blue-violet can be a little bit tricky because blue and violet are already sort of similar. So I'm just going to try my hardest to get a color that looks different than blue and different than purple. And when you finally get that perfect blue-violet, paint it neatly in the space on the color wheel between blue and violet, right where it belongs. On your screen, the blue and the blue-violet probably look kind of alike. You'll just have to trust me when I say that in real life, they are somewhat different. This time, I'm moving on to blue-green. Now last time I actually ran out of blue, so I'm going to have to get a little bit more blue for myself. And green this time. Ugh, can you tell that I was struggling by mixing that dark blue and that green together? I was not able to get a very good blue-green, so I had to break down and switch paints. So when the video comes back on, you'll see that I have switched out this dark blue paint for this brighter blue paint, and so I am going to get a much better blue-green. I just wanted to let you know what was going on. So in your paint tray, you will have this brighter blue paint that's going to work a lot better for blue-violet and blue-green. You'll thank me later. So here I am with my brighter blue paint, which is going to give me a much better result when I mix it with this green. There we go, much better. And I'm going to paint that color in between my blue, and my green. So now finally, I'm to my last intermediate color. I'm going to combine some yellow and some green, and I'm going to come up with yellow-green. Now remember, darker color goes into the lighter color because it'll change that color a lot faster than the light color into the dark color. See, I almost instantly have a beautiful yellow-green. And I'm going to paint that very neatly, of course, right inside my last space. And voila! I have my own 12-hue color wheel, complete with 3 primary colors, red, blue, and yellow, 3 secondary colors, purple, green, and orange, and now 6 intermediate colors, red-orange, red-violet, blue-violet, blue-green, yellow-green, and yellow-orange. Perfect!